What if I told you you could get an Apple Watch Ultra for only $17? It sounds too good to be true, right? Yeah, that's because it is. This is the Watch 9 Ultra. I ordered it from a website called Temu.com. And honestly, I don't know why I ordered this thing. I think it has more to do with like an odd curiosity than any sort of like desire to own yet another smartwatch. I'm actually not short on watches over here, but either way, I ordered this watch so you don't have to. And on all of the marketing material, all of the images online, everything is made to look like it's an exact clone of the Apple Watch Ultra. I actually think that maybe they used photos of the Apple Watch Ultra, or potentially maybe a 3D render of the Apple Watch Ultra when they did all of the marketing material for this thing. And when you get this home and you unbox it, yeah, the watch does look surprisingly similar to an Apple Watch Ultra, but it's got some pretty obvious differences. When you first pick it up, you notice it's a lot lighter weight. It's actually 41 grams versus 61 grams of the Apple Watch Ultra. And it's lighter weight here because the watch body is all plastic, despite the back of the watch claiming that it's both sapphire and titanium. Basically, all of the messaging on the back here is just made to look like an Apple Watch Ultra. I don't think that anyone expects this thing to be waterproof down to 50 meters. Again, we can test that. I can try to take this watch for a swim. I'm just gonna save that particular test for the very, very last thing that I do, because I am pretty sure that any sort of water is gonna kill this thing. But still, at 2% of the price of an Apple Watch Ultra, maybe we can overlook some of these faults of this watch. Let's dig into exactly what you get for $17. Now in the box, you've got the watch body itself. You've got two strap options here. I have black and orange. I don't know why, but I immediately wanted to see if these watch bands would work with my actual Apple Watch Ultra, and they kind of do. I don't think that I would necessarily trust these watch bands while swimming in the ocean or anything like that. But even if this watch is a complete bust, at least I have two kind of usable watch bands here. But there's also a USB Apple Watch charger clone in here, and the same thing. I wanted to test to see if it would actually work with an Apple Watch Ultra. Again, at least I'd have that to work with if my $17 was a bust. And it does not appear to be a functioning Apple Watch charger. Again, it does work with the device provided, just not with my Apple Watch. And we've got an instruction manual here, and there appears to be a ton of functionality. You've got some sort of SOS app, a calling app, message or notifications app. They've got something called a health tricycle, which is weird, but it's kind of like closing your Apple rings, which if you guys follow this channel, you know I love closing my Apple rings each day. Also on here is a flashlight, stopwatch, calculator, a weather app, a find a phone app, but we've also got some crazy claims in here as well. This watch claims to be able to check your blood pressure, which I have no idea how that would be possible. I don't even understand like where they would have the mechanics to do such things. And it kind of tries to use the same honeycomb home screen design that you have on normal Apple Watches. I would just say that the touch screen itself isn't quite as responsive. I guess it's good that it does have a touch screen and it is functional, but it's definitely not quite as responsive. So it's really easy to accidentally end up on the wrong application. It's also interesting that many of the same apps are on here more than once. So if you scroll to the left, you'll see that SOS app, but then if you scroll up to the top right, you'll see that same app again. Basically, every app is on here twice, which, maybe if you're trying to find something in here, maybe that's a good thing, I don't know. So starting with blood pressure, let's see what actually works on this device. And we'll compare the Watch 9 Ultra to a validated blood pressure machine here. Just a quick side note, if you are ever looking for a validated blood pressure measurement device, there is a site called validatebp.org. Surprise, surprise, the Watch 9 Ultra wasn't listed there, but I am using a validated blood pressure measurement to compare this one to. So my actual values were 133 over 84, kind of high. I think maybe I'm nervous to talk to you guys. I don't know. Don't judge me. I'm exercising like an hour every single day. I'm definitely working on it. But the Watch 9 Ultra has me at 122/82. Again, I like those numbers better. But I actually just think that this watch is just randomly throwing out numbers that you might want to have. But the fact is that it isn't even super close. It's an odd metric to have on a watch. The Apple Watch Ultra can't check your blood pressure, for example. The current technology to check blood pressure typically uses an inflatable arm cuff or a wrist cuff. There is a watch on the market called BP Doc that actually inflates the wristband. Let me know if you guys want me to review that in the future. But it's so odd that this brand included that app and then just kind of makes up these metrics. Moving on to phone calls, which also didn't really work for me at all. You can kind of type in a number here and then it basically just doesn't do anything. There's also no microphone on this device, but you can specify a favorite contact. I put in my wife, clicking on her name. Again, doesn't really do anything at all. I don't know why you would have your favorites in here if you can't do anything with it. But then this health tricycle. And again, I didn't make this name up. It's right there in the instruction manual. It's their ring system, but the rings don't seem to actually animate or do anything. They always seem to just be full, regardless of what you've done for the day. Now, I did go into the settings and I kind of set it to remind me to get up while I was kind of sitting around at work. And it did actually occasionally remind me to move. So that's kind of a pretty cool feature on a very affordable watch. And at this price point, I should probably confirm that this watch does keep time. It does tell time correctly. And there's also other features that work as expected. There's a flashlight app that worked. Calculator app seems to work. There's a stopwatch app also worked. And then there's a weather app in here. I would say that the data looked a little questionable for my particular forecast. I'm just north of Portland and it just seems to be kind of throwing out some random weather forecasts, some random temperatures here. But switching over to GPS, and again, as you might expect, we're not getting a lot of accurate GPS data here. I went on one of my favorite runs on the trails with this watch, and it kind of looks like it's working. It's definitely designed to look like the Apple Watch's UI when it comes to these activity screens. And you can do some cool stuff. You can actually control podcasts or the music that's playing on your phone while running just kind of by swiping right here. And pressing the play button, the play button doesn't actually change or notify you that it's actually kind of done something, but you can control your music that way. My run, however, showed 4.5 kilometers versus my actual 5K run. I retested this on the roads, not the trails, and kind of got the exact same data, 4.5 or 4.4 kilometers versus 5K. So it's off, but I guess it could be worse. I actually have a lot of doubts here. I actually doubt that this thing even has a GPS chip in here. My theory is that it's kind of just taking a guess on distance based on steps taken or something like that. But either way, I would say don't expect anything remotely accurate here. And your running results will show after your run, and you should probably take a picture of it or something, because that data, it turns out that activity data is not saved or stored on this device locally after you click away from that summary screen. It's just gone. So, would I recommend this $17 Watch 9 Ultra watch? Well, I mean, it's not good. It feels extremely cheap. It's kind of got this like tiny rattle to it. Most of the apps don't work as expected, but also, surprisingly, some of the apps do kind of work, and it's $17. What do you guys think? Is this something that you would ever consider? Overall, I think that this watch does kind of what someone buying it might want, which is it kind of looks like you bought a much more expensive watch. It's almost like a Halloween prop, if you will, but it's a working Halloween prop, or at least semi-working Halloween prop. As for swimming with this watch, Did you guys think that I forgot? Yeah, swimming killed this watch. It is dead as a doornail. It is not waterproof. It is no longer a functional device. And I'm sure that you guys probably aren't picking up this watch, but either way, make sure that you are getting out there and you're swimming, biking, running, rinsing, and repeating it all over again. And we will see you guys on the next one.